Hey, what's up? Music. I fuck with music pretty heavy. I listen to music a fair bit, and music has been, I know this is like really corny to say, but music's been like a pretty massive part of my life for like forever, really. Albums have really been like one of my favorite forms of media forever, like that and movies. I switch between which one I fuck with more, but I think for the last like 5 or 6 years, it's mainly been music that I've just stuck with being like, oh shit, music's awesome, whatever. And I'm negative all the time at the moment. I'm an angry, fucking sad piece of shit a lot of the time. So I wanted to change the tune around here a little bit, spread a bit of positivity, and talk about music that I love, music that I fuck with. This is my 115 most favorite albums, because I went through like this is not all of them probably, because I found them all by just going through my Spotify shit, like whatever I've liked. I've had that Spotify account since I like started high school, so it's a fair indicator of shit that I've been fucking with for like a while. And I just picked out shit that I was like, oh, that's cool, I want to talk about that, I could talk about that, I could talk about that. And then I realized I'd had like fucking heaps. I wanted to do like a top 50, then I had like way too many. So I got shit that I just want to like rapid fire mention that I think's cool. Also, sorry if the fucking camera keeps going weird color shit. I don't know, I'm using the fucking face cam thing from my laptop because I'm lazy. So fuck yeah. We Are the Laser Viking by An Albatross. This is a cool like punk fucking kind of album. I don't really know what genre it would be, like electronic punk maybe. It goes hard, it's experimental. I really like I like the aesthetic of it. Everything's like short, snappy, loud. It's cool. It's that's basically it. It's just cool. You should listen to it if you fuck with whatever else I put there, that if you fuck with, listen to it. I want to mention Ice Cream and Mac 10s and Crack Clouds over Arts Kitchen by Black Cray, because I fuck with both of these mixtapes really hard, but I don't know if I'd like place them in my like favorite shit. I just really fuck with like the aesthetics of them, and I think they're really important and influential. Also, oh fuck, is it Vet Money Hose or whatever the fuck the album's called? Art Money Hose. That got found recently, and that's crazy. That shit fucking slaps. That's better than Crack Clouds over Arts Kitchen, I reckon. So yeah, listen to that too. They all bang. Mark by Bobby Raps is just a really good fucking album. It's like, if someone's like, you fuck with melodic trap, I like that type of sound with it, where it's like not as serious and fucking corny and mainstream, but I like that album. It's pretty good. AM Paradox and Sonder Sun by Brent Faiyaz. I'm not a massive R&B guy. Like, you'll find that out by the list, but I just don't really listen to R&B all that often, but I really like both of these albums. I really like Brent Faiyaz in general. I got into it because I was like starting to fuck with The Weeknd a little bit, and then I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like The Weeknd, and I fuck with that. But those two albums I think are really impressive. Yeah, Untrue by Burial is like a Criterion Collection fucking album pick. You just go listen to it. It's good. It's fucking ambient shit. It's cool. Bump and bass and fucking whatever. Cartier in the House by Cartier God. If you know, you know. Castle Beat self-titled is just a really cool fucking, I don't know what it's like, dream pop, sort of like bedroom indie, whatever the fuck thing. I just like those type of beats. It's a pretty nice project overall. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Downer by Cold Heart. I know this one's really cringy, kind of. This is like old GBC fucking, I'm an emo teenager's music, but the album holds a special place in my heart. I listened to it a bunch while I was like becoming the dude that I kind of am, maybe. Which is why I'm a fucking cornball. Shout out Cold Heart. That's kind of, I'm dissing you heaps in that, but I fuck with the album, so maybe it's not a diss. I don't know. Tomorrow is Yesterday and Every Day is Stupid by Crywank. Yeah, so you know how I said like I'm an emo sad teenager? You can tell that I'm an emo sad teenager, minimo. Little bit of a side tangent. There's gonna be a few of these throughout that. I don't fucking care. This isn't very structured. Whatever the fuck. I saw a discussion on a Facebook music group about this album once, saying, is it like harmful music to like indulge in like gross self-loathing and suicidality like that album? And they were saying like, I can't imagine this is helpful for anyone. And I was like, that's kind of a really interesting take. I really disagree. I think you should do whatever the fuck with your art and do whatever. So personally, I think that's kind of a whack take. But I do think that this album in particular is very self-indulgent in like almost like neat shit. Like, I'm gross, I'm yucky, some old Blade vibes, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, it's sad fucking space. I wanted to mention 3 Danny Brown albums, those being 30, The Hybrid, and Hot Soup. I really fucking love these albums. Danny Brown is my favorite rapper. I think he's the best rapper. I don't know if he's my favorite rapper, like person making rap music, but he's by far the person I think of when I'm like, who's the best rapper? I always think of Danny Brown. Brown. He got me into like American rap pretty heavy. Him and Tyler the Creator, funny enough, but I wasn't really fucking with American rap until I got real heavy into Danny Brown. I was like, I liked like trap songs and shit, but you know, I was pretty much a Aussie fucking old head at that point. They probably actually fit somewhere in the 100, but I tried to narrow it down to like one album per artist in the actual list and shit. So yeah, I don't know if I didn't stick to it very well when I was making the list, but I just wanted to, you know, shout out Danny Brown, shout out the Danny Brown podcast. I've been watching that shit's hilarious. Yeah, House on Wheels by Deb Never is just a really cool EP. I don't know, this sounds really fucking weird, but she sounds like a girl version of Juice WRLD on some songs, and then there's the other like rocky shit I really I really fuck with. Like, I don't know, I like the atmosphere of it. I like this project a lot. It's simple, it's nice. I thought I'd, you know, shout it out. Demo by Elaine, or I don't know if this is a self-titled or just a demo, whatever the fuck. I don't know what it actually is. This album is crazy. It's kind of like that Laser Viking album I was talking about, where I don't really listen to like this genre of music that much, so I don't know if it's actually even that great, but you know, it's pretty intense. It was dark, it was cool, so I really fucked with the experience of listening it. And check it out. I Love Hating You by Frank Jeff C. I just fucking love Frank Jeff C. I gotta mention every project of his that I really fuck with, and this was like one of the ones that I came back to. Like, I hadn't listened to Frank Jeff C in ages, and I saw that he put this out, and I listened to it, and I was like, wow, it's really fucking, this is cool. I like it. It's chill. It's nice. Grandmaster G by God. I know it's not in my favorite album somehow, but you know, the blunts be shaping like Lizzo. That's all I gotta say, brother. Icy Twat Radio by Icy Twat is probably just my favorite Icy Twat tape. I know that's kind of a fucking normie take, whatever. I just like the beat selection in there. I actually wrote a lot of raps fucking in high school listening to this shit, and they never went anywhere, and they're all trash. But I was just walking. I remember walking to like my friend's house to go get it on, and fucking just like writing bars on my phone as I walked after school. So that was a fun time. So I got a lot of love for that project. In Between Dreams by Jack Johnson. I used to listen to this shit when I was a kid with my mum, so I've just got nostalgia for it. But you know, it's a happy album. It's nice. If you're just, you know, got nothing bad in your life, then it's banging. But if shit sucks, then this type of music just fucking pisses me off. But it's nice when it's all chill and happy. Nectar by Jonathan Lindor, 96, the GOAT. Young Lindor, probably my favorite Jonathan Lindor like side project. I just really like it. I like the Bloodhounds and Lullabies one as well. That's really nice. But you know, I just like Nectar a lot. It's got a lot of classics on it. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck the album's called by Ketamine, but I made a song with this lad and it goes crazy. So
I'm ready for the fucking session if we're fucking dudes. I'm not ready for the baby, let's support a baby book.
Muck by Killer Bowler is really fucking cool. It's like atmospheric like trap metal. It actually just manages to like blend the like that. They have a song, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Curse with him. Insert me saying the right fucking name of the song. It like blends that with like atmospheric, like, I don't know, SoundCloud shit maybe? I don't even, metal shit? I don't fucking know genres, man. I listen to too much shit. I just hear too many influences from everything, and I mislabel like 99% of what I'm fucking talking about. The Kings of Crunk fucking album by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. This has got so many bangers on it that I just, you know, another one of those classics. Like, anytime this shit gets chucked on, it's a fucking great night. So I just gotta shout that shit out. The Carter 3 by Lil Wayne is, in my opinion, an inarguable greatest of all time album. It's just not like my personal favorite, but like I still love it. Obviously, it just didn't reach the fucking 100 that I picked or whatever. But like when the Carter 3 dropped, Lil Wayne was the top of the rap game, and that shit was inarguable. You couldn't fucking, you know, you can't disagree with that fact that when that came out, he was the fucking GOAT. And you know, Lil Wayne, massive fucking inspiration to every artist, and fucking just a very important person in the rap fucking history of rap. So yeah, shout out the Carter 3. Let the Sun Talk by Marvy. I haven't listened to this album a whole lot, but I don't know why I fucking put it off. I think it was just because it was getting so many Earl comparisons, and I fuck with Earl so heavy that I was like, it's the same shit with Mike, where I listen to like Mike a fair bit. I listen to Mike more than fucking more than Marvy. But you know, like, I just, people that say, like, always get that comparison every time I listen to it. It was in the back of my head, and so I only listen to it when I'm like really just feeling like that little different shit. And then the comparison, so I'm not just sitting there going, I should listen to Earl as well, because I just, you know, I grew up listening to Earl more, so I have that like nostalgia for like Earl shit. So I really like when I'm just in the mood for this type of music and I get to listen to it and appreciate it, and I'm not like tinted by like my subconscious comparisons and shit. The Glow Part 2 by The Microphones is just a really nice fucking like sad like lo-fi album and shit. A Crow Looked at Me is definitely sad. sadder, but I think the Glow 2 is better to listen to. So, you know, also insane, like fucking Lil Peep discography sampled from that shit. So that's cool. We Told You to Think by Milo. This shit's like poetry. I know this sounds really fucking corny, but like the way that Milo raps on this, it doesn't sound like rapping necessarily. It's more sounds, to me at least, like fucking like writing poetry and doing like spoken word shit. And I just think that's cool. But the album's, it's pretty good. Late by Mixed Matches. I really fuck with this. Like a very drained type aesthetic album that sounds really cool. Death Metal by Panchico. I remember hearing this for the first time on Dismiss Yourself and being like, this sounds nothing like the rest of whatever the fuck they post, but I really fucked with it. It's cool. I don't even know. It sounds like Radiohead kind of, but that's like pretty much the only comparison I can think of. Meet Me Where the River Turns Grey by Ramirez. I really liked this album like when I was in high school. I was getting really heavy into like Memphis, like the new wave Memphis shit that was coming out at the same time as this, and this project just has always like stuck out to me as one of the best from that era. I really like the aesthetic of it and shit. I just fuck with green, so like green covers. I'm just like, yeah, that's dope. Tales from the King of Enigma and just King of Enigma by Cyber. There's gonna be a lot of Cyber projects in the fucking list, but I wanted to shout these two out. They don't make the 100, but they're amazing projects, and they're like the last of like very cracked out Cyber that I really fuck with. So yeah, it's really cool. Crush by that kid. This album is gay as fuck, and I don't mean that in any other way than if you've heard it, you'll know exactly what I mean. This album's gay as fuck, and it's based. So you know, shout out that kid. Killmart by The Pool Boy and Killstation. I again just heard this like when I was fucking in high school, and it's just always stuck to me as like just a short good collection of songs that I like the fucking energy on the project. The mixing is really cool. It's like really compressed and sounds fucking, there's heaps of high end in the mix, but I don't know, it works. I just like it. And then the Tiger's Jaw self-titled album, I really fucking like. I really like Wicker Face Springs Eternal. I think that like his lyricism and shit and his just like aesthetic is really cool. Very emo, whatever the fuck, and this is like Midwest emo, I think. I don't know, don't kill me if I'm wrong, but it sounds, that's what it like rings a bell for, as that doesn't make sense. It's a really good album. It's really, I just really fucking like it, and it's really good, and I need to listen to it more. It probably would be like actually on the list pretty high because I didn't hear it until pretty recently, but yeah, I need to listen to it more because I really like it. And I also just want to mention the fucking Rainbow Bridge trilogy by Cemetery. I know, internet fucking meme rapper, whatever the fuck, kind of corny. Fantano gave it high review and everyone loved it, but I fuck with the aesthetic. I like, people were like, oh, it's deep fried Chief Keef, but I see way more like Lil Peep influence in like the early shit. I don't know, that Chief Keef mixed with Lil Peep horrorcore, and then like black metal aesthetic, I guess, just fucking distortion, and I love distortion, so that's probably why I fuck with it. But yeah, let's start the official list. Who Made the Sunshine by Westside Gunn is an incredible album, in my opinion. I love Westside Gunn's delivery, like on everything. He just brings such a fucking presence. His ad-libs are crazy. I think he's a very consistent rapper, and I just love the fucking way he delivers. But this is by far my favorite tape of his in terms of replayability. I listen to this shit like multiple times a day when I first started like really fucking with it. But now I would listen to this shit, like just put it on when I'm just driving. It's a great driving music. So yeah, I really fucking like this album. It's got great punchlines, great ad-libs, great fucking all of the above. I just really fucking like it. So, Yerba by Sleep Dealer. This is like, so I used to make old fucking vaporwave intros for people and like a Twitter account when I was like 13. Hey, shout out the commentary community. Leafy is here. Come back, bro. Yeah, but like that whole aesthetic, I was really into fucking like lo-fi music. Back when fucking lo-fi music wasn't like lo-fi hip-hop beats weren't anime girl to study to, whatever the fuck shit that they are now. They just sound so like overproduced and generic a lot of the time now. But back when I heard this, I really feel like the scene was really cool and really fresh. It was like more like a detour from like, the vaporwave like cloud rap aesthetic that was going on, like very Japan aesthetic-y. I don't know, I fucked with this album heaps when I listened to it all the time, studying it at school. Also, I'm gonna do this on the list where I just have like multiple albums at the one spot because they're like the same amount of how much I like them. And Surf Century is like a new age Australian rapper that I think got pretty overlooked, and sometimes you can do the whole Australian pop rap is the corniest fucking thing on planet Earth. So anytime Australian rappers like even slightly veer into that pop rap realm, it's really hard to stomach for me. But when he's going hard, he's going hard. And both of these albums have incredible fucking tracks on them. And it's, I just, like, I grew up listening to Australian rap, so I have a lot of fucking just cuts in here that, because I listened to them when I was young and nostalgia and shit. So I don't know. But there's some pretty cool like songs on both of these. Actually, I do think they stand up as like pretty decent fucking EPs or whatever they are, albums, I don't know. But yeah, I also just realized that like a lot of these are EPs, not necessarily albums. Some of them might be mixtapes, some of them aren't even probably official like fucking compilations, but whatever. And this fucking mixtape, World Wide Web by Danger Incorporated, when I first heard this, I always told everyone this is my favorite mixtape of all time. I had an EP, maybe it's fucking EP, I'm saying mixtape, I think it's an EP, I don't even fucking know. I just didn't, back then I didn't really understand, I still don't understand the difference between EPs, albums. I guess I get the distinction between mixtapes, but yeah, I didn't really understand that, so I didn't realize that a lot of the other EPs and shit I liked were EPs, but I used to say that this shit was my favorite one of them because it was just so clean, so smooth, so small, like back to front, very nice like packaging. I really like the aesthetic of it. It's just it's a really good, like very like Young Lean inspired loud rap, maybe, I guess. It's really cool. So yeah, shout out that. Sad Necessary by Milky Chance. This again, I loved this album in high school. I like Stolen Dance was on the radio all the time, so everyone knew that song. But I really liked the rest of the shit the band put out, and I think Runnin' is, from memory, is the name of the other song that I really liked. But I think this is a really solid album. I think it's like the beats are fucking crazy. It's mixed really well. It's just again just a nice vibe, my brother. Both 3 and 4 of the old compilation by Melty Cannons are amazing. Just really great production. It's just like a very interesting production style. Like it feels not like low. It feels like Pixies and fucking like wood, like clapping wood together type like percussion and shit like that. It's just it's like very dreamy and like fantasy-ish, and you know, it's really like pretty melodies and shit are really light, airy and bubbly. Maybe no, but probably not bubbly. But you know, I just really like this production style. Melty Cannon, amazing producer. Red Teenage Melody is just it's just a really good album. I don't think Dark Light is on this. I don't think it is. But I really like Night Lavelle. I think Dark Knight's on Concept V. But both this and Red Teenage Melody, I really like those albums. I think I know Dark Knight like blew the fuck up, but I still think Night Lavelle kind of gets like slept on in terms of his actual, not talent necessarily, but output, like quality of output was really fucking high. And you know, he was working with Dylan Brady really early, which is just like a cool thing. And fucking Dylan Brady was working with Kevin Abstract and shit early. It's so strange, but you know, it's small world. So that's again a tangent that's not related to anything, but I really fuck with that album, so you should check that out. It's just like SoundCloud. That's the best way I could probably describe it. It's like a little bit similar to like the sesh fucking aesthetic. Deadly Verses by Gangsta Pat is fucking crazy. This I really like Memphis music, and this like again I just listened to this all like back to fucking back when I first started hearing this shit. I remember listening to it on the bus like a lot and just being inspired to like go home and like try fucking make beats, because this is when I was trash at making fucking beats, like really shit, but I was just trying to make shit like that. And I think this is like that type of like listening to like lo-fi Memphis music was gave me a lot of like shit to like want to like do experimental shit, because I couldn't figure out how to like sample right and fucking like chop shit right, so I just did weird chops, and you know, that's like I just ended up listening to a lot more experimental music from that, and I think that was like a weird pathway to there. So yeah, I just really like that album. I guess that's the point of this video, so I guess I must fucking like it. No shit. To Forget by Wishing. This is a sad album. This song, I don't know the name of it, but this song is really fucking I remember like getting really drunk by myself and just and fucking yeah, I really like it. It's like distorted lo-fi, what would this genre be? Pussy music, sad music. I don't fucking know. It's just, it goes hard and it's got the right type of distortion, the distortion that I really like. Big Fish Theory by Vince Staples, like a fucking amazing album. Some would say his magnum opus, and I think I agree with them. It's a really good it's really good tape. A lot of like not experimental necessarily, but like fairly like EDM, in almost industrial like inspired hip hop beats on this. Insane rapping. Like it's not like it sacrifices actual like rap, like how good it's like rap for its experimental value. It's just a really great, slightly experimental rap album. It's got a cool as fuck aesthetic, and it's got cool as fuck songs. I found Hound by Slow Corpse again when I was in high school. A lot of these albums are just shit from high school that I really like when I was like discovering like the wide world of music, and then this shit just stuck with me. Like I went back to this pretty recently after not listening to it for a few years, and just remembering like, oh shit, this actually sticks up better than I thought it would, because a lot of the other music in similar genres that I was listening to at that time didn't upon a revisit, but I really feel like this did. And yeah, I really really like this band, and I really like this album. Paper Cut Chronicles 2 by Gym Class Heroes. This one is more of a like childhood cut. All the tracks on screen right now I just like adored growing up. This probably got me pretty heavy into experimental, not necessarily experimental, but like blending like American pop rap type shit with more like depravity as like a theme, or like a sonic theme, I guess. The outro is funny and cool. Not a whole lot to say about this. Justin Bieber, I don't know. My brother loved Justin Bieber when I was growing up, my younger brother. I used to think it was gay and corny, and then I realized I'm gay and corny, so now I fuck with Justin Bieber, and upon reflection, this album's got fucking hits. So I'm corny, I like GBC, I like fucking emo like shit music. I know this isn't a good album, but I like it. Suck a dick. Paraffin by and Hammer. I don't know how to fucking pronounce that group. I think it's Billy Woods and Elucid. Amazing project. Really cool production. Really good sampling, and the rapping, this style of rapping, I don't know, it's similar to Milo, but like less poetic, more metaphors is how the way I like see it. I really like this delivery. I really like the intensity, the way they talk about subjects, and like just the way they talk about shit is really cool on this album especially. And you know, they got a Frank Ocean sample on it. So Self-Hate Wrath by Ghosty. I used to listen to this album mowing the lawns. I don't know why the fuck that's what I did, but I used to listen to this album like every time I would go mow the lawns. I put this shit on in headphones and I would just be banging, just vibing out, and you know, getting sunburned. You got to do a job, and this helped me just like listen to this and vibe out in my head while I went and did monotonous tasks. It's a good doing the dishes album, shit like that. Doing your chores album, except chores is like 90% of life. Like fucking, I don't know, cutting your toenails, chuck this on, it's banging. Cutting your hair or whatever. Yeah, I just really fuck with this album. I like Anti-World a lot. I'm a massive Anti-World fan, as if I said in the other video, whatever the fuck video it was in. And this is just an Anti-World album that I really like. And the production's amazing. The singing's really cool. And lots of vibey tracks. Skinny But Dangerous by Kingpin Skinny Pimp. So when I saw this album, again, Memphis shit, I was trying to find shit to sample, and I saw this like just pop up, like the name, and I was like, I gotta listen to that, because I'm skinny as a motherfucker. So I was like, I gotta respect the skinny hustlers, the skinny fucking pimps. That's crazy. Gotta like, you know, put on. So, and it's a fucking amazing album. It's tight as shit. It's, in terms of like, in comparison to like Gangsta Pat and fucking like Juicy J and shit, lyrically, don't think Skinny Pimp's got a whole lot on them, but in terms of aesthetic, I like this album maybe a bit more, because it's less like horrorcore-y, and it's still pretty horrorcore, but it's just like, I don't know, this album's really good. Yeah, Stay Skinny, Pink Label by Simon. Yeah, this is, I really like this glitchy style of like lo-fi, it's like lo-fi production. It's like lo-fi hip-hop production, but in high fidelity, like glitchy. Maybe glitch hop is close to what it would be called, but you know, that style of production. And it's got a Corbin Bobby Rap song on it. Chester Watson got a song on it. I really like it. Really cool, atmospheric. Legalized Suicide, what an epic fucking thing. That's crazy that suicide's illegal. Mic Check Volume 2 by Mike G. I really like Odd Future as well. As I said before, Tyler, Creator, pretty much, and Danny Brown pretty much got me into like yank rap. I was like listening to a whole lot of Odd Future, and I really like a lot of, obviously Tyler, Earl, and Frank is the main like fucking three that everyone sticks with, but Domo Genesis had some fire fucking shit. I liked a lot of the Left Brain stuff, and this one project by Mike G is crazy. The Smoke Ring song, he's rapping crazy on that. I just like it. It's just like some shit that, again, I'd listen to on the bus and then go write some shit that was abhorrent. I like his voice a lot, so the delivery is very sonically pleasing. My back's fucking killing. We might be lying down in a minute. Is this too intimate? Yes, I'm going back. Grey Area by Lil Sims. Not gonna lie, Fantano put me onto this album, but I'm glad he did. It's cool. It's British rap, which I'm not normally that big on. Even like drill and shit. I like a lot of the production. I love the flows, but I don't know. Poms, you know, they got a long history with Australia and the rest of the world, so that's fucking ridiculous. I don't know why I was just gonna be racist to British people, but I don't know. Fuck them. Most of these suck. So Grey Area is really cool. It's a really good feminist fucking us. I need a sedative. It's just a really good, like, empowering album, and Lil Slim's rapping like fucking crazy on it. I haven't listened to the Introvert album by her yet, but everyone says that's better than this, so I gotta get around to that. But yeah, I like the production on this a lot. I just think it's a very clean album. Like, it's very high fidelity, very fucking mixed really well. And the verses are fucking crazy. The rapping's insane on it. It's some next level shit. Some more gay shit. American Boyfriend by Nation Storm. top. American Boyfriend by Kevin Abstract. Little Jack being like, damn, boys sometimes do be pretty. This shit was his shit. Again, just a high school album. I really I really was into Brockhampton when the Saturation Trilogy was coming out. So as Kevin was the front man of that, I was like looking into a lot of his like solo shit. And I think this is a really solid project. It feels very like the start of it is very strong, and I think as it goes on, it gets a little bit more derivative of its inspirations, I think. But this song, I don't remember the name, but whatever this one is that's on the screen right now is fucking amazing. This is like, again, just a very emotive, awesome track, and I really like this album. It's really good. It's very cool. Fatigue Fleet and Fatigue Mode, which is Leaking Head 3, I think, by Cyber. I might have that wrong, but I don't fucking care. I love Cyber. These albums, I know these like make the official list more than the Tales of Enigma ones, even though Tales of Enigma is probably closer to being like actual music. But I listen to like Fatigue Fleet, unironically, a lot, and just like when I need to just like not think and just have shit, I'm like, this is, as I said in the video where I talked about Cyber, I just really fucking like it, and it speaks to me on a personal schizo level. Look at heaven opening up behind me. I can ascend into a different realm. Melancholy by Salvia Palth, I think is how you pronounce that. I love this album. It's, again, really lo-fi. It's like that type of indie, like fucking distorted lo-fi shit that I really like. And I have a lot of like personal memories with this song. This fucking album, and songs on this album that make me feel sad. So I don't listen to this album a whole lot because I try not to re-traumatize myself anymore with my own emotions, because that was bad for my mental health, apparently. Yeah, I don't listen to this album very often, but I really fucking like it, and it definitely deserves to be in the top 100. Hendrix. I don't know how the fuck Fantano didn't like this. This shit bangs. I don't even fucking like Future that much. Like, I know him and like Young Thug in America are like seen as very equal in terms of like being fucking like talented and essential for the genre of like trap, but holy fuck, not like Young Thug fucking wipes Future a lot of the time, in my opinion. But on Hendrix, Future's in his bag. He's coming out strong. He's tasting dick. It's a great time. Another really good album to drive to. It feels very like lavish, very like expensive and nice and grand. It gives me like not rodeo vibes in terms of they're similar sonically or anything like that necessarily, but just like in terms of like being like feeling like a movie. It feels like a movie, I guess, to me for some reason. I just really like Hendrix. It's by far my favorite Future project by a landslide. Mad Villainy is again like one of those shits where it's like this is probably an essential best rap albums of all time pick, and I really agree with that. Like, I think the beats on here, again, I'm going to be talking about the beats a lot, but this is just creative as fuck, sampling and cartoons, like eating cereal type fucking rap. It's villainous. It's bong smoke in the air. It's really fucking good. Really fucking vibey. R.I.P. MF Doom, fucking absolute legend. Creative as fuck flows and rhyme schemes, and just an amazing album overall. Kana by The Khan. This album, Vices and Just Like Me, I used to listen to these songs all the fucking time. I was in high school and I was just fucking on the bus and I'd be high as shit trying to like hide my fucking eye, like this type shit. Fucking vibing out. I really like this project. It's distorted. I don't know, it's a really fun album. I really fucking like. Fuck Crime Wave by Crime Wave. This album, the first time I heard it, I was like, he's not rapping that well, but I really like the aesthetic of this, and I think that's just been my opinion on it since. I don't necessarily think like lyrically this shit's anything that special. It's just typical like dark, edgy rap, but the beats and like just the way it's mixed, that it's very like muddy, but somehow clean at the same time, and you know, the aesthetics are really what I like. For about like 4 years after I listened to Blonde, I was like, this is my favorite album of all time. I listened to it like once a week, and I listened to it going to sleep all the time, and all the songs were amazing, and I lived life super high to Blonde. So, you know, like that type of aesthetic, again, just late like high school years, really fucking with that. And then I realized that I had listened to this album so much that every time I heard it, I was just getting nostalgia for good times. And then as soon as I realized that, I was like, this album's boring. And then I had a really bad take for a while that Blonde wasn't actually the masterpiece everyone thinks it was. And then I re-listened listened to it again. I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? This album's amazing. This album's production is incredible. Lyrics so heart-wrenching. Just the vibe constantly feeling celebratorily sad, if that makes sense. Like Solo is like a perfect example of the album. And Godspeed. Oh, so many classics. An amazing album that influenced so much. But I definitely don't love it as much as I thought I did. When I first heard it, I was just wrapped up in the hype of it, I guess. But it's still an amazing album. Loose Fuck by Ikea Funa, I guess. I have no idea how to pronounce any of this. Really cool, like trap experimental, like that fucking hard snare. That one snare, this one, yeah, that snare is in it a lot. It feels like drag racing. Again, I heard it a long time ago and it really stuck with me. Again, probably one of those things that like really got me into heavy like experimental music like that. So in like especially industrial experimental music. So yeah, it's a really cool cut. You should definitely check it out. Twin Fantasy by Car Seat Headrest. I don't remember exactly how I heard about this album, but then as soon as I heard about it, I had no idea how I hadn't. I checked, like, it was pretty massive on the internet, so I was like, I was just under a rock, and this shit was, I thought I found like a fucking unique little gem, and then I realized, oh, this has been a meme for fucking ever since it came out. But it's cool. It's a really good album. It deserves, I think, the hype. I actually do think it deserves the hype. Fairies are kind of strange though. We're just gonna put all three of my favorite Hilltop Hoods album in the one spot because I feel like this is like a good area for them. The Hilltop Hoods were a massive part of my life growing up. They were like my dad's favorite Australian rap group, so like I listened to them literally since I was like fucking before I could understand what words really meant and shit like that. The Hard Word Restrung is better than the other one. I know it's like half censored, but the beats are better. It's mixed better. It's just better. That was the first album I got really heavy into, and I really like The Calling as well. But State of the Art is underrated. It's a bit more, it feels a bit more like movie-ish, a bit more they've made it type shit. Like they're a big band at this time, and everything past that is poppy, way too fucking pop rappy. Summer Drinking from the Sun's alright, but everything past that is just way too mainstream for my taste. Some of their old shit fucking slaps. I'll put some songs up. If you haven't ever listened to any of that, these are some really good Australian rap songs that are just amazing. All three of these albums hold a very, very dear place in my heart, so I had to talk about them a little bit. Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. It's no meme. My dad was an edgelord. Nowadays, people think of this as like an edgelord album or like an emo teen, like edgy pick, but I associate this with fucking bogans getting pissed as, and like a lot of nostalgia, like a lot of, again, growing up, dad would drive me around when I was real little, and I remember thinking, this song's hilarious because they say shut up really loud. Dad, play the shut up song. But I actually, like, unironically, I think this is a really fucking good album. I think it's really consistent. I think it's really fun. Like, as fucking corny as that sounds, like, it's very loud. I think it's ahead of its time, honestly. And yeah, R.I.P. Chester, that shit's fucked up. Van Gogh's Left Ear goes incredibly fucking hard. Again, a pretty recent album that just, the first time I heard it, I was just like, this is insane. I didn't realize that Zalupas and Danny Brown knew each other, but while I was listening to it for the first time, I was just like, Danny Brown and him need to do tracks. And they've done tracks, and I knew those tracks, I just didn't know who the fuck Zalupas was. But it goes crazy. I'm really glad that he's pretty big right now. I need to check out his recent shit as well. I haven't heard that yet. But yeah, I really like this album. It's really cool. The art direction somehow works with like the multiple like sonic sort of like ventures he does on the album, so that's impressive. And yeah, I fuck with that. Mr. Wonderful by Action Bronson. I think this is like the most recent album that I have heard. I know it's like not come out recent at all, but I just had never listened to an Action Bronson album, and I was making this, like I was just listening to like albums through it to see if I like still really fucked with them and everything. And I'd never listened to an Action Bronson album, and I was just, I really want to see that and see what I think, and it was amazing. Cinematic is a fucking understatement. This shit is grand as fuck. People talk about Rick Ross being like designer rap. Action Bronson is like 20 tiers above in that category. It's so like vividly painted, and you can feel everything put into it. And this album goes all over the place. It's got blues shit, some rock shit, very jazz shit. Like it's just really, really hilariously, what's the word, like rambunctious? I don't know, what's the, verbocious? No, braggadocious. That's what I meant. It was just a pleasure to listen to, so I'm really glad I actually got around to listening to a full Action Bronson project, because I've always really liked him as just like a person. So yeah, it was a very good experience.
I forgot to mention it in the recording, so we're doing one of these. The new Kendrick album. I don't care. It's his best. It bangs. I love it. That's all. I'm doing it quick because it's on this. It's go listen to it. T-Pab's great, but this,
Schizo Scriptures, self-titled. This shit, first track sounds a lot like Lil Darky. Sorry to ruin it. It's kind of like Alternative Trap or Alternate Trap by Lucky. Every time I hear that, I just think it sounds like Lil Xan, and that ruins it for me. But this sounding like Lil Darky doesn't ruin this for me, because the production on this is fucking incredible. It's all over the place in the best way. A lot of like EDM inspired shit, as well as like prog rock is maybe the right genre, but it's really fucking good. The art is amazing. It's very entertaining. It keeps like the rhythm and pace the whole time. The slower like folkier elements really work, I think. And again, the aesthetic is pulled off, and it's a really fucking all over the place but incredible experience, I think. Volcanic Bird Enemy and The Voice Concerned by Lil Ugly Mane. Want to talk about crazy samples? This is the album for that. The sampling on this album is so insane. I don't even know what fucking genre of music this is. I have no real words to describe it other than it's interesting, it's personal, it's a cool as fuck direction for Lil Ugly Mane to be going in, and like the butt rock shit he's doing at the moment I really like. It's gonna be cool if he ever goes back to rapping, and I think he probably will, but I'm really happy he went in this direction. It's so experimental, but it's pretty accessible at the same time, so, like weirdly. Every song sounds like you're listening to it and it's like, oh, this is the weird one on the album, but the whole album is like that. So yeah, but it's really good. One time I was driving and I said to my dad, what's your favorite album of all time? And he's like, I reckon it's gotta be that Nirvana one. I understand. I have a fucking, hold on, check this shit. I have a Kurt Cobain poster on my wall because I'm a fucking degenerate. I'm a failure and no one should ever love me. But shout out Kurt Cobain. This album is really fucking good. Obviously, people like to put it in like the best albums of all times, and maybe, I don't know if it's like best album all time. It's probably worth being in that discussion. It is super influential, super recognizable. It's mainstream but experimental. In Utero is really good, and In Utero is a lot harsher, and so is Bleach. But I'll be honest, I don't even think I've listened to Bleach fully in like years and years. I've just pretty much come back to Nevermind and In Utero, and although I really like In Utero and I know that's like the right pick, I just think Nevermind is a 10. Fantana was right with that one as well. I'm standing up because I need to stretch my back because I'm fucking dying here. I'm old as shit. Bang Bang Sosa Baby, Finally Rich. This is such a normie pick. This is like the most normie pick on the entire fucking list probably, but it's just the best Keith tape. Like I like Bang 2. I like Back from the Dead. I like whatever the fuck the one with Morgan Tracy is on. That's crazy. I even like Mansion Music because that's just because it's got Cardi on it, and that's not. And Belieber go crazy. Even the new Glowtoven is pretty a great fucking tape. I really like Chief Keef, and I know it's such a basic pick, but all the fucking bangers are on Finally Rich. And if anyone ever puts Finally Rich on, I'm never gonna complain. There's not a skip on that shit. Also, this song, I forgot the name, but it's in. The melody's in my head. This shit is basically a hyperpop song, and it came out in 2012. So that's crazy. Vlogaveli is another really basic pick. I know that. It's the same as like Finally Rich and fucking Kings of Crunk, but I don't care. They're basic picks and everyone likes them because they're fucking great albums and they go hard as shit. I'm moving all around the room. Yeah, I know it's like a basic pick, but it's just a classic album, and all of the songs on here, this is the real fucking drill music. This is why I don't fuck with UK drill music, is because I like this type of drill music better. Also, the sounds on this album, you could drop this shit today, people would bang it. Like, it's very influential and very ahead of its time, like what trap music sounds like, even though it is drill music. Like, every trap shit is using fucking Lex Luger sounds, so I can't understate its fucking impacted influence. E by Echo is the first mature fucking Drain Gang project. Like, this is the first one that fans could like point to critics and be like, hey, check this out, we weren't fucking around, they're good, they're making music, we promise. And it's great music. It's really cool, really catchy. The production is incredible. I think it's a lot of White Armor production. I'm not too sure, that could be wrong. Production's amazing, lyrics are really good, the overall vibe, I really like the video for Peroxide and shit. My favorite track is Blue Eyes by Landslide, but I also like Calcium, and I just really like this album. It's definitely a good Drain Gang pick. Pinata by Freddie Gibbs, fucking classic. People talk about, do you like Bandana or Pinata better? I think Pinata shits on Bandana. I know it's like less accessible because you got all the fucking skits, but Thuggin is I think, the best rap song of all time. So like, it's at least, I think it's the best song. I think it's the best rap song of all time. It goes Thuggin' and fucking North North, and those are the best rap songs of all time. So yeah, I listened to this album pretty recently because I think on a YouTube man, someone recommended it to him and said that one of the songs on it, I think Sorry Days, was underrated, and I agree. This album's incredible. It's like shoegaze hyperpop is the way I describe it. I don't really have a whole lot to say. You should definitely just check it out. It's really good. Nothing Great About Britain, Igor by Tyler the Creator, and Run Off Misery Grounds 2, I think is the name of it, or Sound of Irritation 2, Run Off Misery Grounds is the actual title, by Cyber. They all dropped on the same day. They're all really good albums, and I listened to them on an aeroplane, which made them even cooler. And Nothing Great About Britain's fucking classic. Like, I tried making this comparison once, and Nothing Great About Britain to me feels like the UK version of Illmatic, and that makes no sense, and that's probably offensive and whatever the fuck, but I love this album, and I love Illmatic. I don't think Illmatic's on this list. It should be though. Shout out Illmatic. This album's way better than Troy or whatever the other one's called. I was a massive Lil Peep fan for all of my high school life. You know, Hellboy, I remember getting drunk like a lot. Like when I first started getting drunk, a lot of the time we'd like listen to Hellboy while getting fucked up. So just a lot of memories to it, and you know, it's pretty corny upon re-listen, but I can't, you know, I gotta excuse it. It's like, it's a childhood classic, even though I was like 14, but it's a classic. I listened to Veteran because people were comparing it to Death Grips, and I remember just thinking, what the fuck are these people talking about? I understand it's experimental hip hop, but it's like the most different type of experimental hip hop I can imagine is JPEG Mafia and Death Grips. One's industrial like music with hip hop elements, and the other's hip hop music with industrial elements, really. But Veteran's crazy. These are my favorite songs from it. I really like the Dream Ivory self-titled. I found this shit on YouTube. I remember, like, just, you know how like YouTube gives you random recommended songs. He recommended me one of these. I think it was the title track, and I just love it. It's that type of like indie music that reminds me kind of like that Castle Beat aesthetic. It's just really easy to listen to. You can listen to it when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're zoned out, when you're chopping up, when you're fucking lighting up, when you're doing whatever you are. It's really good music for all usage music. I like Crybaby better than Hellboy. I thought about it for a long time. I remember having this argument in fucking like year 8 with my friend. Which one's better? It's Crybaby. It's more mature. It's more atmospheric. Sure, it has Yesterday, which sucks, but that song's overhated. It's funny. It's a funny interpolation of that sample. And you know, I'm glad they're both on streaming now. I listen to Crybaby more, and when I go back and want to listen to Lil Peep because I'm reminiscing on my edgy, sad teen years, then I listen to Crybaby more because I do think it's aged better. I'll put it that way. So at the time that I was listening to Danny Brown and Tyler the Creator to get into US-based rap, I was also listening to Death Grips, not really realizing that that's kind of the corniest trio you can be listening to. I have white skin, and I like experimental hip-hop. Oh, but Steroids was my shit. Steroids and Bottomless Pit, I listened to fucking back-to-back repeat. I listened to it while studying. I don't know why. I can either listen to like crazy shit like this or fucking like Drain Gang. I can't even listen to lo-fi beats anymore. I used to do that in like year 7, but then as soon as I started listening to Death Grips while doing schoolwork, it's the only shit I could fucking do it other than Drain Gang, which is weird, but that's why I listen to it so much. But driving, like playing footy and shit like that, I'd listen to it on the way there. Really good EP. I really like it. Shout out Gabba Music. More people need to bring that back. This is a classic EP. It blows my mind how influential it is, and how no one wants to give Corbin credit, and everyone wants to just fucking chuck him to the wayside as some emo SoundCloud aesthetic rapper, when I think it's so much more than that. I really think this album is actually insanely good. The aesthetics on it are really cool. Lyrics are a little whiny, flow's a little whiny. It's kind of the point, dickhead. I don't know. Every critique about this album I think is valid, but I think that's like the charm of it. And also I have shout out Echo. That's fucking hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. The happiest day of my life was when I showed my girlfriend this album and she actually liked it. If she didn't, I think I would have been put on a sex offenders registers list, because you should not be showing this music to other people without them kind of knowing what they're in for. Father does a whole lot of shit that I really think I think he's underrated. Like, again, I think a lot, like I pretty much think all of Awful Records is really underrated in terms of not necessarily pioneering shit. Like, you could make that argument, but just being like aesthetically driven. Like, I think that all of their projects, and this included, have like a very solid aesthetic, a very playable and very fun, very fucking like very fucked up music. Like not fucked up as in, oh my god, this is like Immortal Technique, whatever. Fucked up as in like you get fucked up and you put this on and it bangs. And it's a good time. Big Emblem Bends, I remember putting that on every party playlist like in high school and scaring the shit out of everyone with the yeah. So people probably got mad at me for that, but you know, never give me the aux unless you want to listen to some random bullshit that you probably won't fuck with. That's your own fault. Speaking of putting random bullshit on the aux, Soldier Love Rari World by Sick Boy Rari. I would always play Codeine Tears on a Fanta on the aux at every party, but I'd always play it really late night so people don't like catch on to the song quickly. So that it's like they're like it's like getting closer to the drop when they're like, what the fuck is this? Why is this on? Whose is this? And then I just go, wait. It gets good, just wait. And then it gets good, and it's crazy. It's good from the start. I love it. But normies don't fuck with this album. I don't know why. I just don't get it. Rose by Abra, again, another album that I just think is criminally underrated. I don't listen to a whole lot of R&B. I don't know if this shit's actually good or not, but this shit bangs. I like the aesthetics on it. The production is really cool. And yeah, I think this is just a really nice album. Now, this is some fucking nostalgia right here. So I was massive into like the vaporwave. Like, I don't know if PC music's actually the right term, but like internet music, like fucking like Simpsons wave, like Frank Jeffsy shit. And this is like a vaporwave aesthetic, vapor trap or cloud, whatever it's called. I really like this album and it's really good. Teen Pregnancy is, that song still scares me for some reason. Just listening to that song gives me anxiety, but in a good sense. Makes me think about like my anxieties and confront them in a good way. So yeah, it's banging album though. Amazing production, really, really cool. This album's fun. That's all I gotta fucking say about it. Again, it was early high school years. I was getting into trap music. Like I was into trap music kind of, and then I was getting into like American rap proper music, but this was like my fun shit. Like I would be like, hey, I can listen to, I can give me the aux, I got something I can actually play type shit. It's a really fun album. These 3 albums, technically 4 albums, I really like. I know I've already put Cyber on this like a fair bit, but he'll come up again. I think these 3 albums, Evil Fella kind of shares an aesthetic to Hellhorse, like more than I think these other 2, but I still think these 3 or 4 albums, you can like make like a Sonic aesthetic with these, and I think that I really like that type of like rainy aesthetic, if that makes sense. Like this grainy bluish gray is how a lot of this music sounds to me, and that might be because all of the covers look like that, but as the aesthetic of the Sonic music shit, it's the aesthetic of Sonic. The Gutsu video on Have a Nice Life is fucking hilarious, so shout out Gutsu. But yeah, this album's really good. This was one of those like sad albums that when I first heard it, I was blown away because I was depressed as shit, and I was like, oh my god, it's speaking to my soul. And then I like didn't listen to it for ages, and I thought I'd go back and be like, wow, I was a fucking corny little twat. But it holds up. It's really mature for like what it is. It's semi-experimental, lo-fi, not industrial, but like noisy type of like indie music, I guess. It's really good album. Really an emotional heater. Kanye, quit being a fucking Nazi. Get off the internet. Someone take this lad's phone. But it's graduation. They ain't lying when they said that Kanye could have written Mein Kampf, but Hitler couldn't have wrote Graduation. So, I don't know. This tape is criminally underrated. No one ever talks about it, ever. It's forgotten. It's just like another like random tape, but it's so good. These songs, all of the songs on it really, but these in particular, perfect. But exactly, this shit started rage music and shit like that, like cloud rage type aesthetic. Forney was doing that well before it. Fucking Trippie Redd got on it. I don't know, just an amazing tape. There existed an Addiction to Blood by Clipping. This is like the first horrorcore album that I think is like a horror movie rather than like a slasher movie, if that makes sense. There's actual thematics and fucking scary production rather than just
I'ma rape your bitch and fucking cut your head off
type rap. So I think it's really good. Aesthetically, it's awesome. As a concept album, it's awesome. Also, shout out the Clipping self-titled. I didn't mention that, but that's a really fun album as well. Story 2 is better than anything on this album, but this album overall is better than that album. That's the take that I have, and that I have given to you via a video on a website on the internet. Technology is designed by Satan to infiltrate our brains, strive us further away from the ultimate human goal of killing pedophiles. Demo by Deafhaven. This is my favorite by Deafhaven. I don't know what type of music this is. This is like death metal, atmospheric, something, maybe. I don't know. And people really like Sunbather a lot, and this other one, I think it's whatever this is called, but I'm thinking of the album cover. Put it up on screen. I just like Demo the most. I really like Rose of Judah. I think I actually like Rose of Judah more. Did I put that somewhere higher? I don't know if I did that or not. I don't know. I just like this one. I like pretty much all of the Deafhaven like albums. Again, this is like a genre of music that I don't listen to that often at all, so I can't like speak too in depth about it, but I just like this one the most. It's just my favorite, and I listen to it a lot. I go back to it a lot. Likewise by Eric DOA is one of the best songs of all time. I believe that with my whole heart. I don't know why. It's so perfect. It's so normie, but it's not whack. Which how did he do it? I don't know. It's an amazing fucking song, and the rest of this album is really good as well. This is one of the most solid and consistent like pop, hyper pop rap albums. Like I'd buy this on a CD type shit. I'd have it in the car to play for other people. The Things with Wings album was pretty cool, and this song off that album is probably my favorite. Oh, not my favorite. I like Likewise more, but this song is better than a lot of the other shit on this album. But overall, this album shits on Things with Wings and the one that came before it, I think. I listened to this album tripping out once, and it fucking was crazy. Halfway through the album, I was like, this is amazing. What is it? And I looked at my phone. I was like, I put this on. This is an album I know, and this is my phone. I'm playing it. What the fuck? I didn't put two together of like how the music was appearing, but I love it. It's so pretty. It's such a weird release for Anti-World, but I'm really glad that it exists. Yeah, I love this album. The first time I listened to Deltron 3030, I was really fucking hungover. It was in the morning after a party, and we were all just like waiting for our brains to turn back on, basically. And I was like half zoned out. Someone was playing like Call of Duty on the TV. We were listening to this, and we got to the song Virus, I think it's called. And I remember like halfway through the song, I was like, wait, this shit's really fucking good. Because up until that point, for some reason, I just wasn't fucking with it. I think it was just because I was really hungover and like not really paying attention. I was just like, this sounds like some boom bap shit, because I don't really listen to fucking old head music that often. I don't listen to boom bap shit really at all. I like it and I respect it. It's just not for me. I just get bored. I have to focus on the different things what new music I focus on, and that hurts my brain. So I don't know. I'm probably whack as fuck for that, but again, I don't give a shit. Anyway, I was just like, this is some boom bap shit. Then I got to that song. I was like, wait, this is crazy good. And I turned to my friend who was playing it. I was like, this is good. What's this called? He's like, oh, it's Deltron 3030. It's the dude from Gorillaz. And I was like, what the fuck? True? That's crazy. And the rest of the album I was listening to, I was like, that was really good. I should listen to the start back. And I did it, and I was like, why was I sleeping? This is crazy. The beats on this are amazing. Perfect for the aesthetic of the album. The concept is hilarious and cool. It's pulled off well. It's not corny somehow, but it's about rap battling aliens. How did they do that? I really like Wicked Phase Springs Eternal. I've said that before. I think this is an amazing like singer-songwriter thing, and the cover of that one song from Secret Boy is really good. Run Away With Me goes so crazy. A little known fact, the song Call Me Maybe changed my life. This is not a bit. I remember hearing that song and realizing, wait, pop music can sound good, and I didn't understand why I liked it. I couldn't figure it out, but I really fucking like Carly Rae Jepsen. I really like this album. It's really good. Pop essential. I was gonna have this album on vinyl, but NetHub wouldn't depop me it to Australia, which is fair enough, but it just sucks that the US is the center of the universe. I don't know. The album's good. NetHub's one of my favorite producers. Yeah. It's fucking blue when the camera's up there, and then as soon as it comes down here, it goes fucking black and white. What is up with that? I've party rock anthemed my way into the next day because I couldn't be fucked finishing it. And by the way, sorry for party rocking. This is not a shitpost. I know this shit sounds like it's a fucking shitpost, but Sorry for Party Rocking is an amazing album. This shit is so ahead of its time, and I know no one's gonna fucking believe me if they just hear it. Go back and listen to that shit. It's revolutionary. This mixed with some of the Black Eyed Peas albums, that's just modern day hyperpop. It goes fucking hard. You can't tell me otherwise. Trick by Alex G is really cool. I don't even know how you'd really describe the type of music music it is. It's kind of like indie folky maybe, but it's very guitar based, and this song String is so fucking cool. This is like one of my favorite songs of all time. It's, again, I don't listen to this type of music that often. When I do, I really like the shit that I like go back to, if that makes sense. But yeah, so shout out Alex G. The beats on this EP, Poor Thing, is fucking, they're incredible. I don't understand how people just hear it and write it off as just generic shit. The beats are crazy, the flows are pretty cool. Jackson and De Silva, it's like that, it's like melodic emo rap, not too GBCE, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know, I just really like this EP a lot. The first song is my favorite one on it.
Hold up, I don't know how I forgot to mention it, because like I said the title of it and then went to start talking about it, coughed, and then instantly stopped talking about it, but you know, don't record while you're out of your mind. Anyway, fucking Grow by Bedroom is an amazing like indie sort of chill out album, really good to drive to. I looked at trees while I was driving along the coast, and that was based, and that's my memory with it, and it's good. Yeah, I don't know, I like it. I wish I remembered to say things when I recorded. What?
Emo Girl Ex Machina by Rat Jetsu. This I found on Dismiss Yourself, and I don't know, it's just another, it's like a little EP that I just really like. The Nirvana flip is fucking cool. I heard the single, the Romantic Vivisection one, before the album came out, and I was really excited to like hear more. So when I found out it was on a project, that was super cool. And it was just a really good listening experience. It's very cool. It's, I guess, hyper pop-y shit, but it's dope. I liked sad music for like a long time in high school and shit like that, and I was kind of getting into like online like music discussions, and I was very aware that the type of sad music that I like a lot of people didn't fuck with, and I was cool with that. I understood it because a lot of it was like surface level and shit like that, but I really heavy fucked with this album heap when I first found it. It was like this like got me into like Have a Nice Life and shit like that. Like I don't know, it's not even really that sad, it's like kind of shoegazy, I guess. The song Sparks and Space Song, another little funny story. When I was making the fucking like vaporwave intros and shit, I made an intro for some guy using the Beach House Space Song without realizing that you just can't do that. But I did it, and I don't think they knew what the song was either. So that was bass. I heard that song like ages ago, and then I like refound the album. I was like, oh my fucking god, I made a fucking intro to this song. So like it of course it just, you know, stuck with me really heavy. Probably got me into like this genre of music a lot, and I really like Beach House as a band. This song, I don't know, I think it's called Dark Spring. Yes, that's I think what it's called. I really like that song a lot, but I know it's not on this album, but it's a cool song. So yeah, Innocent Country was one of those albums that again just like stuck with me the first time I heard it. I really fucked with the delivery, like also the cover art. I just saw it on I think it was a Spotify recommendation actually, so I just clicked on it and I was like, this shit is fucking crazy. He's rapping like mad on this thing. Drugfest 2002. You know what else do I need to say? I've talked pretty highly about Janoskis in the past. I really fuck with like his artistic like shit, really. Like I like the vision that he goes with, I like his aesthetic, and I think this album is like by far my favorite. I wouldn't say it's his best necessarily. I think the new one's like definitely more accessible maybe, I don't really know, but like a bit more polished, but I really just like the fucking vibe of this. It's got a lot of my favorite tracks. I'll chuck them up on the screen. I'm gonna chuck and shout out more tracks if I remember the fucking names of them, but for most of the time I don't, but I remember it when I edit, and then I put it on the video so you can see it, and then you can go, oh, that's what the song he's talking about right now. I can figure that out. Yeah, isn't the internet such a cool little hangout spot? It ain't a meme. I've been fucking with Playboi Carti forever. When I was really young in high school, I copped illegitimate Culture Kings Playboi Carti merch. Show a photo on the screen of that. That goes crazy. I remember the first like Holiday to Red dropped on Christmas. Everyone knows that, and I was super fucked up that Christmas. Everyone else had gone to bed. It was like fucking 3 in the morning, and I tried to just listen to that shit by myself, but I was way too fucked up. I was like half falling asleep on the second song. I knew it was crazy. I was like, this is insane, but I'm about to like either vomit or fall asleep. So I chose to sleep, but I was so fucking happy when I got around to listening to it. I was taking the bus home from town, and fucking like it's like an hour and a half, or a bit longer. They went out fucking, I need a note to say, I went the long way home on a bus one time, and I listened to this album, and it was fact. More Awful Records, because I clearly fuck with Awful Records, if you haven't tell. Both of these projects I think are really cool. Subchrist has got a crazy delivery, but I just like the aesthetic he paints, not only with like his lyrics and like delivery and shit, but with the beats as well. Again, a lot of these projects, most of the reason I just fucked with them really heavy is because I think they come together as like an artistic thing. It's not even whether or not that's fucking like high art, whatever the fuck it is. I just like when people have like a fucking aesthetic and it's like, it sounds different to shit. It's creative, epic fucking throwback reference. I like when things like stick out, and I think that Slug Christ really does stick out, and these albums are quite emotionally, not, I wouldn't say heavy in terms of like they make you depressed, but it's just like confronting kind of a little bit. And the Judas Betrayal one is pretty like, you know, gets a little bit like, heavy. Thinking about praying is a theme, religion I guess as like a theme is, I always like fucking religious metaphors and like play around that. I don't know why. I know it's kind of overplayed a lot, but I think Slug Christ definitely does it in a way that's not overplayed. So that's like, I like his like spin on music, I guess. The Maya Low tape is fucking awesome. It's long as fuck. It's just long as fuck, cool beats. These tracks are my favorite. Again, I don't remember any of the names, but these ones go hard as fuck. It's just a really good, like, if you've got a long drive, if you're doing fucking nothing, you just want beats on this shit, it slaps like fucking crazy. Steroids is fat, but Bottomless Pit is just fucking awesome. I really like when Death Grips like sounds like this. Even like my favorite tracks from like other albums of Death Grips like remind me of Bottomless Pit a lot. Like fucking Black Paint I think is one of the best Death Grip songs, and that's just because it reminds me of the end of Bottomless Pit. The last 3 tracks on Bottomless Pit are my favorite 3-track run in any Death Grips album. I also really like their new album as well, Year of the Snitch. I like that album a lot. I think it got kind of underrated. I think when it came out, people were saying, oh, this is a new direction of Death Grips and shit, but I think it was pretty different to like Bottomless Pit, but I like them a lot. Obviously the Money Store and fucking Ex-Military like are classics. Even all the Death Grips albums are fucking classics, but Bottomless Pit just by far was my favorite. And again, this is like something that I listen to a lot. Like it's got me pretty heavy into like heavy experimental music, because I fucked with experimental music beforehand, but never just like as loud and all over the place as this. It's got me like into that type area of the genre scene or whatever the fuck. These albums go crazy. I listened to these when I was driving a lot and looking at trees, and that's basically all you need to know about them. Do that and it's a fun experience. I really fuck with RX Parkview like in general. I like all of his fucking tracks go hard. I love the delivery and shit like that. He raps raw as shit, but this tape especially I just feel is like extremely consistent. Like you can put this shit on and just hitter after hitter cunt. Like it's just really tough shit. It's really good, and the beats are like perfect. That's like, I like the aesthetic of the beats. Some of them, I remember there's one track, I don't know the fucking name of it. If I remember, I'll put it in, but I didn't fuck with that beat at all. But the rest of it I remember, because I was like, this is not, as this beat is taking me out of it, and then I went straight back in. The rest of the album, I was just like, I'm back exactly where I wanted to be. So yeah, I really fuck with that project. I play it all the time. Funny little story, my dad fucks with this band. That's how I found out about them and everything. And apparently when I was real little and I wouldn't go to sleep like a crying little baby, fucking annoying piece of shit, my dad would chuck on this and fucking like dance around the living room like trying to rock me to sleep and shit, and this would like put me to sleep, and I was sleeping for real, because this album is crazy. Like I like listening to this shit just growing up in the car. I never really thought about how much I actually liked it, but it's just really cool. Shittown's great song. The opener is probably my favorite on the whole project, but the whole thing is just like really good. The Dolphins Cry album, or Secrets of Mamadi or whatever the fuck it's called, is another really good tape, but I definitely like this one a whole lot more. So yeah, Throwing Copper by Live is an absolute dad rock classic. What can I say? It's RX Papi, all the good shit I just said about him, except now it's on fucking God's production, however the fuck you say it. It's Swedish. Fuck you think I know about Swiss cheese? Obviously I'm massive into Drain Gang and shit like that, so just hearing like RX Papi on these types of beats is just a really fucking cool thing to have happened. I'm just like glad this shit exists. 12 Stout Street is like a very infamous song, but I really do think it's a great opener for this project. The rest of the project, like I don't think it pales in comparison. Like a lot of people say that that's like the best song on it by far. I don't really think of it like that. I think the whole project pretty consistent. Like it's, I don't know, there's some these tracks are my favorite. I forgot, again, I'm so shit with names. I listen to so much music that I can't remember the names of things. I can remember albums decently, but fuck man, you want me to remember individual song titles? Do you know how many songs there are? There's like way more than 100 or some shit. Bass Ghost Perp is like the villain of rap. Because he's the super villain in terms of he created it all. You live long, you die early enough to be the hero, live long to be the villain. This guy, he started being the villain early, and he stuck the role, and he wears the suit well. But you can't deny his fucking influence on everything. His music is hyped up to, like, is what it's cracked up to be. A lot of it is like lo-fi aesthetic shit. So like, it's not for everyone, but it's, you know, it's not for everyone, but it goes crazy. The influence on everything is fucking, can't be understated. And I don't know, the Space Ghost Pussy arc is crazy. I have no idea why I like this album so much. Because forever, like, I like the big singles by Lana Del Rey when they were coming out and shit, but they were like, it was never like my favorite pop artist. I always preferred other people. Even listening to some of the projects, like I got recommended to listen to a few, so I did, and I enjoyed them. They were like better than I like thought I would, but still got like really nothing from them. But then when Norman fucking Rockwell dropped, I remember listening to it and being like, what the fuck? This is like perfect. This is everything that I was missing from her other shit. Everything that, I don't know, it's just like, this is exactly how I want Lana Del Rey to sound. Here in the other shit, I was like, this is just not, it's not scratching the itch, and then this scratched it perfectly. And I don't know why, but I listen to this album all the time. I don't even really keep up. I don't listen to any of her other shit, like personally. Like there's a few tracks that I really like, but from other albums, but this one just is a cut above the rest in my humble little opinion. One shot, click, 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 reload. This is, I like D&G a lot. I think I just like Trash Island more. Back when lockdown happened, I was doing the school from home shit. Every single time that I wasn't on an inline class, and half the time I was on online classes, I was just listening to this project for some reason. It was hitting, and it still does. I really like it. These are my favorite tracks from it. I'm gonna go back to talking about Space Ghost Perp. I don't know how I forgot to say that Friday is like in my top 5 all-time favorite songs. Now I'm gonna talk about Young Lean like I meant to, because the list says Young Lean now. Jesus, Jack, stick to the script. Stranger is just, in my opinion, the most mature Young Lean album, even to date, I think. Like, I really like Stars, and I also really fucking like the newest one, Stardust. I like that more than Stars. I also really like Warlord. Like, I think everything past that, like, even in his early career, Young Lean had very like mature sounding songs, but everything past there has been like, I don't really know like how to describe it. I'm drawing a blank, but like it just feels more polished, I guess, more like big and grand, I guess. And Stranger, I just like, again, it just dropped at the perfect time. I was listening to I remember when it dropped, just like thinking of like about it in the context of his career. I was like, this is a big moment, at least the way I view it, for his like progression as an artist. That's not to say that I don't fuck with the old Young Lean shit. That shit goes crazy, bro. Like, that's how I came on to Young Lean, like that vaporwave aesthetic shit, that whole fucking Young Lean being a meme, like that shit was, I was just the one going, oh cunts, you're sleeping for real. Yeah, I just think Stranger, I don't know, I don't even really know if it's actually my favorite Young Lean project. I just felt like this was a really good space to chuck one in, and this is probably the one that I'd recommend people listen to the most. Maybe, I don't know, depends what you want from Young Lean, but this is like a very good like middle ground, I think, on his career. I think, yeah, that's probably, like, I think that's it. I think that's, I've spoken enough words. Couch Potato was probably the Corbin project I listened to the most prior to Morn coming out. I like him and Bobby Rap's chemistry a lot. I think they bring interesting things out of each other, like sonically, and I like the production a lot on this album. I like the production on this slightly more than Leaving. I like Leaving's aesthetic a bit better, but this just feels like this is bringing Corbin to where I like him the most, if that makes sense. And Bobby Raps is really good on it the entire time as well, so it's just it's a really solid project. I found City Morgue with my mate when they had fuck all listens on SoundCloud, and I remember when this shit came out, and I was just so like, whoa, this is crazy. It was one of the first times I was like very much watching something just like go fucking blow up right in front of me type shit, and couldn't have been happier with the output. This was, again, the soundtrack to many high school piss up and cook ups and just getting fucked up and being mischievous little rascal lads getting up to no good in the neighborhood. It reminds me of like Summer for some reason, which is very odd, but again, a lot of these shit, it's just because I have personal connections to them, but they're still really great albums, I think. So yeah, definitely check this out if you haven't. It's the best of the trilogy in my humble opinion. The second one more is close. Apparently I'm a fucking idiot and I didn't read the list right. Warlord's here, so when I wrote this, I thought I liked Warlord more than Stranger, but right now I don't know if I'd actually say that. Right now I'm like really leaning towards the newest one, but that's probably just listening bias. But when I wrote this, I thought Warlord was better, probably because I really love Hoover. It's an crazing song. It's in crazing actually. Afghanistan was one of the like songs that got me into Young Lean. So yeah, that and Hurt, I think, were the two that I actually, that, Hurt, and Gatorade. Those three really like set the scene for like Young Lean for me. So that's probably why I put it higher. But yeah, talked about 100 Pain before. I really like this album. It's really good. Listen to it. I don't know which of these tapes I like more. They're both just the ones on Spotify, so that's just what I picked it. But obviously, like Lucifer, fucking Culture, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the Sigilcore sound and like wave that he started has been like hugely influential in the scenes that I'm really like pay attention to, if that makes sense. Like the artists that I pay attention to, a lot of them are like in related scenes to this, so it's really cool seeing like the influence of that spread out across fucking underground SoundCloud and shit, and now everything just fucking sounds very inspired by this. And the projects are really good. Vamania is like a more high energy version of it, but this song on Akosha Unleashed is classic. So yeah, I fuck with both of these. Really heavy. Just they're pretty high up at the moment. I think if this was like, maybe if I made this in a year, they'd probably be down the list a lot, but this is just what I've been listening to a lot at the moment. So I really fuck with both of these projects. They're up really high at the moment. And yes, but the rest of this list is pretty consistent about a long time. I don't even know why I'm still talking. I don't know what the point of anything is. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I've ever been doing. I don't know anything. Atrocity Exhibition by Danny Brown is my favorite project by him, followed probably by Hot Soup, honestly, or maybe The Hybrid. It's those three definitely, but Atrocity Exhibition is definitely the number one spot. It's so saddening that he spent so much money on the samples and no one fucked with this, because I think the money was 100% worth it. This is the dingy aesthetic of the album is so poignant, and I really like it. And just this is like I think if you wanted to point to Danny Brown being taken seriously, because that's a conversation a lot. People think Danny Brown's like a fucking meme rapper. I'd point to this shit as to say that it's very much not that. I don't know. This album goes crazy. I have it on CD. Fucking yes. It really sucks that Kanye is on his whole fucking Nazi arc at the moment, because I like the Kanye albums quite a bit. Growing up, like Graduation, the songs from that I always really liked, but like once I actually got into Kanye West, I heard Yeezus and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really experimental. Then I re-listened to it and I was like, wait, this is the same Kanye West. I kind of just like was numb to that thought like for the first time, just to think that it's so left field, even for Kanye, even in his discography. It just stands out as being like such not experimental, like, but just industrial and shit like that. And I really like that type of sound. On-Site is like my favorite Kanye beat, and fucking Hold My Liquor is probably my favorite Kanye song. But yeah, Kanye, get off the Hitler shit. What are you trying to steal my swag? I'm retracting that statement. I don't want it to be a joke that I fuck with Hitler. Fuck Hitler. That's some boring edgelord shit. It's so 2016. It's just not an interesting Kanye arc. It's like a what the fuck's going on Kanye arc. I'm not like in tune to it. It's just making me annoyed. I'm like, it's shocking, and I'm like getting zapped by it, but I'm just like, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. It's not a fun experience. Yeah, Kanye, find Jesus. A Night in Virginia. Back in lockdown, when I was getting really heavy into hyperpop, A Night in Virginia was the project that basically got me there. I listen to this shit all the time. It's just short, snappy, it's clean. The production is a really like Quinn's production is incredible. The way that I don't even fucking know how to like describe it. Just her mixing, like the way that everything sounds in the mix. The sounds themselves are really like, I guess not unique, but like sound very like selected on purpose. But just the way that she mixes it together is crazy. And I think this is really like just a solid fucking EP. And then her self-titled recently, it's just fucking an incredible shit. I listened to this walking to uni. Literally, I'd listen to it like once a week just because it's such a good album to listen to. Like doing, see, I went blue for a second. I swear to God, what the fuck is up with this? Look, I'm blue, but I'm not. Dabba die. Yeah, I listen to this album walking around all the time. It's just a really like nice sonic experience. Very atmospheric, very low fidelity. Yeah, bangs. Similarly, when SRS came out, I listened to this shit like 4 times in a row. I was walking somewhere and it was like an hour and a half walk, and I listened to it once and I was like, I want that again. And then I listened to it twice and then I was like, I want that again. And then yeah, the third time I did stop then, but I kept going back to it afterwards. So you know, it scratches some type of itch. I very much like it. Experimental and pushing like boundaries in like music and shit, and I know this sound has been done before, but it was just awesome seeing Elle step into it, and I think he does put a very unique spin on it. You could argue that Mike does the sound better, and I think I'd almost agree, but like that's kind of the charm of it, is that it is like not perfected even in its experimentalization. I think Feet of Clay actually sounds messier, but in a good way. Like that's why I like this sounds like a bit more like raw, I guess, and then Feet of Clay sounds a bit more like purposefully messy, and then obviously his career's gone past that. But yeah, this I just really fucking like SRS. R.I.P. Grogs. Drive It Like It's Stolen. I really like the self-titled Injury Reserve album, I really do, but I just think Drive It Like It's Stolen, the sound that they had at this time is my favorite of them. And the song North Pole brought me to tears multiple times before the passing of Grogs, but now listening to it just feels fucking heart-wrenching. So yeah, this is just a very personal, like very close to me type EP, and it fucking slaps. You should definitely all check it out. Because I'm Young, Arrogant, and Hate Everything You Stand For is just a fucking awesome record. The cover is just fucking awesome. I love this art style, and like all Machine Girl covers are sick, but this one and Wolf Girl are definitely obviously the standout covers. Everyone knows these two covers, but I think this album definitely shits on Wolf Girl. I like the sound of both of them, don't get me wrong, but I just the Young Girl Golgoth, I know it's their most popular song, but that's for a reason. It goes so hard, and so does these other songs that I don't remember the names of. I saw Machine Girl in concert at a pub. It was dope. I really like this album. I Don't Like Shit is really, really, really fucking good. When I was depressed and high all the time and staying inside and didn't like anything, I was just like him for real. And you know, that was not that long ago. Off Top is just like such a fucking hard song. This is where like Earl's like lyricism has improved throughout his career. I definitely would say that. But I think this is when he was at his most like accessibly punchy, if that makes sense. He's still got like a very raw and like not basic delivery, but you know what I mean, like in the words he uses. But here I think it was just it's a really interesting part in his career. It stands out to me as like a very mature project for like Odd Future. I think probably Earl is like even more mature than like Frank with Blonde and shit. I don't know, I just really like it. I love Earl a lot. He's massive. He's like Earl and Danny Brown are probably like the people that I'd say I like. Well, obviously Kendrick is like the best in the game. That's kind of inarguable, but if I'm talking like aside from him, I think Earl and Danny Brown deserve to be in that conversation. So yeah, I met Yadig once in person, and that was crazy. He asked me and my mates that we were with, which do you like? But I'm blue again. I don't want to move to it. Look, it goes away. He asked me and my mates, which do you prefer, self-titled or Die Lit? Because this is obviously fucking before Hollow Red. And I got to say In Abundance, and I felt like the coolest lad. And then I realized now that that's really not cool, but it's a cool moment for me. So shout out Yadig. That was sick as fuck that I got to see a famous YouTuber in real life. Oh my god. Oh? These are my favorite songs on In Abundance. Young Zanho is probably my favorite Playboi Carti song, maybe even ever. Fuck Balenciaga for ruining good things. One of the only people that I've ever met in real life that was into Lil Ugly Mane. I remember like talking to them pretty heavy about like Lil Ugly Mane's career and shit, and they were really like shit talking Oblivion Access, saying it was kind of just experimental for experimental sake. And although I can kind of see why you'd think that, I just don't listen to the album. Like that's not the impression that I get. I can understand it, but to me, the experimentality aids the lyricism, I think is what I'm trying to say. But it's just got really impressive fucking rapping, really impressive production, really cool aesthetics. But yeah, I've got more Lil Ugly Mane dick riding to do later, so I'll keep it quick on that one. These two songs are like the first ever time that I heard vaporwave rap and like it sounded the way I wanted it to sound. Because obviously vapor trap was a thing and people were rapping on vaporwave beats, but this is the vaporwave aesthetic-y rap shit that I really wanted. And this album, it's really good production. Again, not a lot of people were fucking with it that I was showing, and I didn't get why, because I think it was just itching a niche thing that I wanted, and no one around me was fucking with it that heavy, which meant I just listened to this like by myself whenever I got the chance. So again, just a lot of like memories to listening to this in my room, fucking vibing out and shit. So yeah, very got me inspired to make beats when listening to it. So yeah, it's a really good fucking album. The first time I got shown 1000 gecs by 100 gecs, I remember thinking, I don't know if they're fucking with me or not, and I don't like it. I couldn't tell if it was meant to be serious or not. I was really like, I was a bit okay, and I my brain just couldn't comprehend what I was like receiving, and I was like, I don't know if I like this, because like the vibe would change so often. It felt like, I don't know, it was offending me somehow, but like I was very intrigued by it. And obviously fucking when I heard 800 Decibel Cloud, I was like really fucking with it then. But I hated Stupid Horse. I don't like that song, and that I think it was initially putting me off, because I was like, this is too goofy memey rather than like fucky memey, if that makes sense. That probably doesn't make sense, but that, I don't know, it was throwing me for a bit of a loop. But then as soon as I finished it, I wanted to listen to it again, and then I realized that I could not get that out of my head, because the production, like I started to appreciate it more and more the more I listened to it. And it's one of those shits where it's just like, I didn't really fuck with it. It was just annoying. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I was being a fucking old head, and then I was like, wait, I was tripping. And it's just really good, and I'm glad it exists. And the production, the drums and shit. I got a 1000 Gex stem pack, and I love using the drums on it, so it's cool. Sick is my favorite Earl album, and I don't know, I think Earl is the person that has the most, or maybe someone else, but has like the most shit on this. I don't know, all the Earl albums do different things for me. With this most recent project, I don't even know what draws me to it so much. It's just, it feels like that I don't like shit, I don't go outside of his new sound. That's the only way I can word it. He's rhyming at the top of his game, his beats, his selection is incredible, that like his flows on this, and just the way that it's mixed, I'm really fucking excited to see where he's going from here. But right where we're at, this is like my favorite point in his career. I love the way that it's almost coming full circle to being fucking like heavy rap shit again. So yeah, I'm really fucking rocking with this one, brother. I used to watch the Frank Jeff C YouTube videos like all the fucking time at school. Whenever, like, you know how people go on YouTube and you hide it from the teacher? I'd be watching Frank Jeff C YouTube videos. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It was music production, fucking kind of goofy comedy like tutorials. Frank Jeff C and Bass Guetta, or however you pronounce this, was basically all I watched in like fucking whenever that was, year 7. And I actually just think this collection is a really good collection of songs. I think obviously it's probably pretty nostalgia driven, the reason that this is so high up, but I just really like it, and I think it's really like fun production. That's the way I describe a lot of Frank Jeff C's production. It's not memey. The production's never that memey. It's just the attitude is, which is like why I think I don't even know if I'd say that. I don't really know what the fuck I'm saying, but I really like this collection. It's cool. Check it out. And these songs are my favorites on it. I need to remember to say that. If I don't, then you're probably not gonna get my favorite songs on it. Suck a dick and balls. So we're up to the top 10 mark left, but first I wanted to just sprinkle in a little extra bit of surprise treats. Where the fuck is my phone? Going through this list, I was obviously listening to a lot of music, and in a lot of music comes a lot of good lines. So I decided to think not only inside this list on other tracks and like other lines that have just stuck with me forever, and I have compiled the top 10 Jex favorite bars. Starting off with number 10 by the Hilltop Hood, saying, "If life's a bitch, then death's a slut, because death comes for everyone, and when it's your turn, you're fucked." As I said before, I listened to Hilltop Hoods like very young, and this was like the first ever lyric where I was like understanding entendres. I was like, whoa, how did he do that? How did he make words do that? I just had never heard shit like that, because I didn't listen to a whole lot. I listened to like a lot of music growing up, but I never like listened to it heavy, if that made sense, until little shit like that stuck out to me, and then it made me more interested in what music like can be and really is type shit. So I really like that line because it's one of the first that ever stuck out to me. I also think it's just a fucking really hard line. Oz rap can be good, and this is proof. Number 9, we got Bedwetter. It's Lil Ugly Mane, but it's on the Bedwetter album. Limp Around Town on the Irish Crutch with a belly full of whiskey and self-disgust. Perfect introspection. Can say I have related a lot, and it's just, I don't know, it's not even that clever, but I just like the way it's worded. The phrasing is soothing to me, and it makes a lot of sense in my head, and I enjoy that lyric. It paints a very vivid picture, I guess. It helps that it's on Stoop Lights, which is just a very, very atmospheric song. Next, we got a lyric from Jay-Z, which is someone that I know Jay-Z's like considered one of the best rappers of all time. I'll be honest, I'm not that crazy about Jay-Z. So a lot of Jay-Z shit's really good. It's definitely really good, but I just don't listen to that style of rap, as you can probably fucking tell from the list, that often. But we got a line here saying, "My wife Beyonce, I brag different." Bruh, he's spitting facts. He does brag different. Everyone wants a girl that looks like Beyonce. Well, you compliment a girl, you say, "Damn, you look better than Beyonce." Shit like that. He got Beyonce. Everyone knows who Beyonce is, and just saying I brag different after bragging differently, that's just hard. I really fuck with lines like that. This is an extra throw-in bar. Bandman Real on the song Newark, New Jersey, whatever the fuck whatever this song's called. They say it's some shit like, I don't even remember the exact line, but it's like they say, "Hey Bandman, how you rap like that?" I say, "I don't know, I just rap like that." Shit like that's crazy to me. Just stating the obvious in such a, like, it's not even bragging way. It's just like saying it with, I don't know, this is some shit about saying words in certain ways. Sounds crazy hard, but that's not on this list. So let's get back to the list. Number 7, it's my favorite weed bar. Excuse me for having a weed bar on my favorite bars, but it goes crazy. It's by Lil Ugly Mane as well. Lime green cannabis, color of prey mantises, no stem, no seeds, crystals like they amethysts. Come on, that's just clever. It sounds, it's painting painting a picture of something that is cool to look at in a cool way. And that's I don't know, it's fucking stupid. I don't know, I'm stupid, but they go hard. Then we got the absolute classic Blunt Shaped Like Lizzo, Baby I Ain't Crazy, I'm Just Schizo by the GOAT God. So in the top 5, we have Lil Snow with Trappin' Ain't Dead, I Got Bricks for Sale. Again, just stating facts. Trapping can't be dead if he's got bricks for sale. So I can't argue with it. Number 4, I Wanna Act Hard, I'm a Hard Act to Follow by Earl Sweatshirt. Just the flipping, I really like when like phrases are flipped, and that's the hardest, literally the hardest way you can flip a phrase like that, I think, is that bar. That's fucking incredible. Number 3, we got the GOAT, Danny Brown. Bitch pussy smell like a penguin, I wouldn't hit that shit with my worst enemy's penis. I'm not joking, hear me out. This lyric is hilarious and clever and good, because penguin smell like fish, and that's, you know, and you know, he's extending some generosity to his enemies. He's saying, you don't need that blight. No one needs that blight, even you. And that's, I don't know, it's on one train. That's why it's hilarious. The second best lyric of all time is I'm Sad as Fuck, Zan by Playboi Carti. Adding the Zan really adds to the my agreeableness with this lyric, because you can be sad as fuck and then you can be sad as fuck Zan, and they're very different things, and I just like that in such a simple way he like it makes that distinction. And then my all-time favorite lyric, no I'm not shit posting, Doja Cat, play with my pussy but don't play with my emotions. I don't know what it is about this lyric, but that's so fucking hard. I think it's because you can't make a male equivalent. If you say play with my dick, but don't play with my emotions, that's so fucking corny. But something about it just, that's the female empowerment lyrics, rap, the shit that I really fuck with. And I don't know, no one talks about Doja Cat being able to actually spit, and I think that's a proper bar. The song it's on isn't even my favorite Doja Cat song at all, but it's, I don't know, something about it. All right, let's get back to albums. But just because this video isn't long enough already, I wanted to fucking mention a few albums that I had listened to since like already recording the video that I thought that I'd still chuck in as like honorable mentions, I guess, whatever. The first of which being the new Lil Yachty album. I fucking love this thing. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's even necessarily close to being perfect, but I think it's really fucking interesting, and it's a really cool direction for Lil Yachty to go as an artist. I'm really glad that he's experimenting and shit. I think it's really cool that someone as big as he is like experimenting in this way, just doing what they want to, being creative. I fuck with all of that, so I'm really happy that it exists, I guess. And I really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm just really happy that it exists. I like Lil Yachty a lot. I don't think it's the best that Lil Yachty can even do. Like, I think he will make better music in future past this, but I just think it's a really exciting first step towards that, is basically what I'm trying to say. Second thing I wanted to mention is Teen Rage by Maddox. This is my like favorite thing he's put out since the Unorthodox tape, I think it was called. I really think that this is more accessible than that in sound and aesthetic. I think it plays off of like the fucking Rage, whatever the fuck aesthetic really well, and it works because he's actually a fucking like young kid, you know? It's like, it is kind of strange watching like 30-year-olds be like, I'm a rager, young gun, whatever the fuck. So I think it's really cool to see someone that is actually young and has been in the game for fucking ages, doing like, yeah, doing this type of sound and scene and whatever. There was a fly on my head. Yeah, just making shit like this I think is really cool. Yeah, and you know, I fuck with Maddox pretty heavy. And the third and final one I wanted to mention was the Laughing Till It Hurts album by Marvy. In the start of the video I said I haven't listened to enough Marvy, so while I was like editing and shit, I listened to more Marvy, and lo and behold, this new album is incredible. Baking Soda, there's the single, I'm gonna fucking kill every fly, I'm gonna eradicate them like a genocidal maniac. Baking Soda as the fucking like single for the album was just, I was like, I gotta listen to this because I love the fucking beat on that. I love the flows on this project. I think all of it's super fucking clean. And yeah, I'm definitely really interested into seeing where he goes in the future as well. But I think that's all that I wanted to mention, so we can now officially get onto the top 10, lad! Number 10, Ever Since by Blade. This is my favorite Blade album. I like the new one a lot, Spider. I like Red Light is really good, but I think I like Ice Dancer more than Red Light. I also really like Working on Dying. The song Best Buy is like one of my favorite Blade songs. Overall, Ever Since was, again, the album that got me into Blade. I was draining extremely hard when I was getting into it, and I remember literally walking around in the rain, out my mind, just listening to this. Main character syndroming heavy. I thought everyone was vampires and that there was people talking to me from my telephone. This is like the edge cringiest Blade album, I think. I like that. I think it's funny. It's not funny, like, it's cool. I don't know. It's my favorite Blade album. Secret Boy is under fucking rated. Like, objectively, I understand why people might not like this album. It's very emo aesthetic, and a lot of people would say it comes off kind of amateurish, but compared to the rest of the GBC shit that gets relatively high praise, like, and I'm not trying to talk shit about sounding amateur or whatever. I just mean, like, you know what the fuck I mean. There's a difference between this and like Def Consciousness. But this album, I don't know. I feel like it's extremely different to the rest of what GBC was putting out. I really like the lyrics on this, and the beats are just, they're the beats that I really wanted, like, that scene to explore a bit more, but it never really seemed to do so. So I'm really glad that we had this project, because I think it's really good. And I used to annoy the shit out of everyone by playing it all the time, and they'd say, look, we get it, it's not as bad as we thought, but give it a break. And I'd say, I'm gonna fucking skin you alive. Loveless being on Spotify and not being on Spotify, the drama, it's a movie to pay attention to in itself. This album, I can't go wrong with it. It's a classic. It sounds like sound. This is what I imagine sound collage and walls of sound. This is what the most blissful interpretation of that phrase is what I think of this album. And it's just fucking great. You know, it's really good looking at trees music. This one, I don't know. I felt embarrassed that I put it this high, but I couldn't not. I don't know why. I just really like this EP. Again, I listen to this, look at trees. It's nice guitars and shit on it. This is very much like the most like indie, soft boy fucking album that I like this much, but I really fucking do like it. Very good album to listen to while driving and looking at things, because it sounds cool in the city and in like the bush and shit. So yeah, I really like it. It's definitely, again, not for everyone, because it's quite soft and mellow and chill and all these other pussy words, but it's really good. It's really cool. I know I've been cheating a little bit by having multiple albums on one slot, and I'm gonna do that in the top 10 just to fuck with yous. I don't know which I like more. I like Flower Boy and Cherry Bomb basically the same. Cherry Bomb's cooler to me sonically, and I listen to it I listen to them about the same probably, but actually Flower Boy is like what I Don't Like Shit I Don't Go Outside is, in terms of like, I think Flower Boy is a really important point in Tyler's career, and I think obviously Garden Shed is an incredible fucking song and like important point in his career, but I also think shit like See You Again and shit like that is those types of songs. If I don't know how to say this, but if anyone else other than Tyler made that could have been, I think, like one of those big zeitgeist songs that everyone knows, because I know it's massive, but it's under the lens of it's on Tyler the Creator's Flower Boy album, if that makes sense. I think if that was disconnected to that, you'd have like literally like that shit would be played on like the radio and shit with like 40-year-old people listening to it all the time. But yeah, I still really love Flower Boy. I have that shit on vinyl, and I don't even collect vinyls. I got given that as a gift, which was kind of fat, but yeah, Cherry Bomb on vinyl would be cooler. So that's all I got. That's my opinion on those two albums. I like them a lot. Obviously, Tyler got me into a lot of different scenes in rap, and I've been paying attention to Tyler for most of his career, and you know, been a fan for that entire time. So those two albums bang. This shit goes well too hard. I've already talked about how much I like Hell Horse by Cyber, but I don't know, it does a lot for me. I like it, the aesthetic of it a lot, and it is just my favorite Cyber project. I love Cyber as an artist, and I think this is, I know it's again super normie pick within the discography, there's a lot of those, but hey, sometimes good albums, people like them for a reason. So yeah, this album I got a lot of fucking like memories with, basically is why it's so high. But I also think it's really underrated in Lil Ugly Mane's discography. It kind of gets forgotten because it's under an alias, which makes sense, but I think it's some of his best production, some of his cleanest rapping. Yeah, the song Stoop Lights and the intro song, not like the actual intro, like what the fucking helmet one. Those two are like literally some of my favorite Lil Ugly Mane songs of all time. So yeah, I really just this album means a whole lot. Rodeo was the first ever album I listened to like high, in terms of I was somewhere with like mates and we were listening to music and we were like, let's put on an album, and it's just like, let's like really focus on the album, because we're like this high school and shit. And I'd listened to a bit of Travis Scott before, and I thought it was like good, I guess. I liked it like from the trap music I was listening to, but I wasn't huge into trap at that time. And then I remember we got to like halfway through Pray for Love, and I was just like, every song has been like really building off the last one. I remember like turning to my friend just being like, yo, this is really good. And he was just like, yeah, it's really good. And I was like, yeah, but you don't get it, I like fuck with this really heavy. And he's like, yeah, no, it's really good. And then for the rest, and then Nightcrawler comes on right after it, and I'm just like fucking, my brain's exploding with like Pleasure, receptor was on tap. On tapped doesn't make sense, but it was getting tapped by the sounds, piercing my eardrums and going into the very creases of my brain. Hearing Chief Keef just fucking blew me away, and then Justin Bieber later on, you know, that's a little bit of a throwback, Young Thug and shit on it. It just, you know, Kanye West, this is again before Kanye was Nazi, so that was incredible. Yeah, and I go back to this album all the time. I think it's really solid, really holds up. It's my favorite Travis Scott album a lot. I like Rodeo. I mean, I like Astroworld. Like, I think that's a good album, and I think it's arguably more of like an atmospheric, like cohesive project. But I don't know, Rodeo is just I think it's one of the greatest albums. It's really fucking good. It's a shame that Travis Scott trampled some kids. A lot of Corbin's stuff, especially on the new album, can be considered like softcore sad music, I'd say. Like, I know it's very like depraved in like aesthetics, and like delivery is very like whiny, but in a good way, I guess. Or maybe that's up to taste, but just Mourn is so much more fucking devastating than that. The isolation feeling that this album is able to like capture is really fucking like pungent throughout does that make sense? I don't know. Really strong throughout the album. And I think it's an achievement. Again, I think this is like in Corbin's career, I look at this and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm really fucking happy that this exists in the context of everything, but especially in the context of his career. Just Revenge Song alone is like just a gut-wrenching fucking track, and the whole album feels a lot like that. And I just, yeah, I've got a lot of really good memories with this album, a lot of sad fucking memories, obviously, like being a little crybaby bitch, wallowing in my sadness to this, but a lot of good memories with it as well. And I really think it is just a really good project. And the number one album of all of Jack's number one album of all time is... Stop right there. A great tragedy has occurred. Breaking news. Playboi Carti, domestic abuse allegations. What the fuck? This little cunt cancelled. What a fucking dumb dog. I'll fucking kill you. Why would you ever buy that? That's disgusting. I'm praying that these allegations are not true. They probably are, and that fucking sucks. And going forward, I will probably not be super hype on consuming Playboi Carti media and shit. But that's how I feel about the Kanye shit. Is it's like I consumed all this shit prior to knowing all of this and gained all these feelings about it prior to knowing any of that. So going forward, I look at everything through a new lens. But at the moment, I'm fine with the list. I'm not remaking this fucking video and cutting that section out because this happened right fucking now. That's basically my take on that. Now, for the number one album. Oh my god, what is it?
Then he drops like my favorite album of all time, Mr. Thug Isolation.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. Mr. Thug Isolation is literally, I think, perfect. The production on this album is so clean. It's like the perfect fucking, the way it's mixed and mastered, the whole project is, apart from where it says hoish ass bitch on this fucking part, the right at the end has too much high end. If that was turned down, I have zero complaints about the rest of this album. Every other fucking detail, literally, I've listened to this countless times. I've been so meticulous in my brain whether or not it's my favorite or not, because I always think it's always between the top three. I always think are like my desert island like albums, and I used to think Rodeo was probably my favorite or Mr. Thug Isolation, but this is the list like where I'm at now. But it was always between either Rodeo or this. I don't know how Mourn got above Rodeo now, but shut up. But I'm certain it's this now. I've listened to it so much, and that literally, that high end on that one little vocal sample, if that was a little bit lower, I would have zero complaints about it. Everything about it is fucking incredible. And that's my fucking list of albums completed. Holy shit, I made real content. This is like some shit that normal people fucking make. That's crazy, lad. Put effort into something like a fucking nerd, like a little dork. I did actually, the video's over. You can turn it off if you fucking want to, but I'm gonna ramble about how hard it was to sit in a corner and talk to a video of myself on a electronic device. Like I said, I started out by just scrolling and like adding every single, just through my Spotify library, and adding every single album that I thought was like worth, like just shit that I was like, I like this, I'd like put this somewhere, and I put that all in a big Word document. And then I made like a table and did like a tiering thing, like S to SB, AC, whatever, ACAB, just made a tier list, which is, I know that's fucking corny, but it was actually a good way to just visually, like, because I could just drag it over from one Word document to the other one to make the tier list. And then I just went through that and like ranked them in the individual tiers Tears, and then went through that, and I changed a bunch throughout, like where I actually thought albums would go as I was making it, like going through it, and then just chucked all the Tears together to make like the final one and included the other shit. But yeah, it was actually fun, like putting a little bit of effort in. I should probably try do that a bit more. In saying that, like I didn't set up a camera or anything to do this one because I did my effort in other areas. Fuck you. I'm only trying a little bit. Trying is corny. That clip from mid-90s is facts. I don't know. That's basically everything. I'm turning shit off on my computer right now, so I think I'm done. Peace out. Vase Vidivic. Fuck you. Music is dope. I'll probably talk about shit I like from now on a little bit more because I thought about it, and negativity is bad. The universe is a bunch of different energies, and you can do bad things, and that'll create more bad energy, and that might not come to you, but it will attract. If you're putting out bad energy will be attracted to you. So put out good energy, and hopefully good things will come. And if bad things are coming, it's a challenge. It's not a challenge from God. Don't get religion confused with this. This is a cult. You need to be brainwashed properly. Don't think about it as a religion. Think about it as an identity. Think about it as the truth. There are beings that manipulate you and have control over you and send evil agents to disrupt you and watch you, and you're being monitored. Everyone is listening at all times, and everyone looks at you when you're behind your back. They're trying to silence me. They're making my shirt gray. Like, is it not in your faces? Wake up, sheeple, right now, to the new world order. Not on some Kanye shit though.